Hey neighbor, welcome. We're talking about some insect problems that you may not be familiar with today in the garden. Some most unusual pests and solutions for those. But man, it's been wet here, hasn't it? Yeah. So we're talking about gardening, insect, pesticide applications, organic and synthetic. Welcome to the Row by Row Gardening Show, the best dadgum gardening show on the internet, where we talk about gardening, a little bit of cooking, and growing your own food. Now sit back and enjoy. Wow. I don't remember a time when we had this much rain. Downpours, we've had two different rains where we've had 6 inches within a 24-hour period.
Last week and then this week.
Was it last week or week before? It's within the last 30 days anyway. It's just been, wow, that water. Folks, a wet year is worse on a garden than a dry year. You know, we can irrigate with dry weather, but a wet year is tough. I'm facing some disease, and I've been on a strict spray program, but I'm facing some disease. Whew, it's tough. Things are looking okay right now, but it could take a turn from the worst at any moment. So I've been telling my buddies, I said, look here, your garden may be looking okay, but you better be keeping that disease, those fungicides on those things, because any day that can turn south for me.
Sneak up on you.
We got the perfect situation for disease. Wet weather, cool nights, and then a host. We got watermelons growing, tomatoes growing.
Humidity's up.
Humidity's up, so it's the perfect storm. So you gotta keep, I've even tightened up my schedule just a little bit more. I was on a 7-day, because we had so much rain.
And there's more coming.
And there's more coming, so. Anyway, we're trying to put a roof on our house. It's not good, so.
Not good.
Here we are.
Can't go fishing.
We can't go fishing.
Too much water.
Man, the creeks and the rivers here are just overflowing, so it's going to be good at some point, but it's going to be a while. That's what we're facing. I think a lot of you out there are facing the same thing. I talked to somebody in New York the other day who had a lot of bad weather up there, so it's unusual. Blade of the week, folks. I got one here, and I don't think I've done this one before. Even if I did, it's probably worth a revamp. Folks, this right here.
Somebody will let you know.
Somebody let me know. This right here is probably one of the most, if not the most popular knife out there right now. This is called the Benchmade Bug Out. And the reason it's the most popular because it's almost, if they search things as the perfect pocket knife, this is it. Real light, has these real, what we call G10 scales or handles on there. It's got, it's through there, so if it gets dirty, it's easy to clean. It flips open real easy. It's got good steel. I forgot what steel is, but it's one of those better steels. Pocket clip, perfect size. Here's the problem with this, folks. These things are kind of expensive. I've actually lost one of these. So we was fishing one time and I lost one.
That ain't the one you lost at the theme park?
No, that ain't the one I put in the pot at the theme park. I actually found it. I bought me another one like this. I found it anyway. This one right here, I lost one time, one of these, and I ordered me another one, but I'll be honest with you, I'm a little hesitant to carry it because they are expensive. And I'm one of those kind of people, I don't use a lot.
You dropped it in the...
I don't lose a lot of stuff, but every now and then I dropped it when I was fishing on the creek, on the Warrior, and I dropped it one time. Anyway, very good bug out knife, very expensive. But you know, Benchmade has this program called Life Sharp where you can send it back in at any given time. They'll sharpen it for free. If it has any warranty problems for the life of the knife, they'll fix it. So it's a really good program they have there. Benchmade Bug Out. If you've never seen one, check it out. You may want to get you one. Expensive, in my opinion, worth the money, but they are expensive. If they say it's the perfect knife, this is probably it. Boom. All right, we got blade of the week out of the way.
Rambled a little bit.
I rambled a little bit there, yeah. And I get excited with them blades. Next week I'm gonna go back and do another axe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We've got something new here, folks. Right here is a new cucumber that we're growing this year. We just added this thing last year. It's called Mini Me Cucumber. Now, ours are starting to come in. Let's show a couple different ones there. And these things are small, like a snacking cucumber.
Yeah. I don't think this is a mini me.
That's not a mini me. I can tell you what that is. That's a halcinator pickle. So see the difference there in the halcinator pickle? You see how it's the bumps on there like a regular cucumber? This mini me is really smooth. Now, I'm not sure. My gut tells me the halcinator is going to outproduce these as far as productivity.
I don't know.
These things here are wonderful for containers.
Cut them open and show the difference on the inside, because there is a difference.
So we just been eating them off the vine. Yep.
The seeds are very little.
Yep. See here, folks. Let me show you there. If you can tell the difference there, yeah. I can't
No,
tell a lot of
you
difference in
can't tell.
that.
Maybe because that one's small.
Anyhow, I think for containers, and see how the smooth skin is, which is unusual there. But I think for snacking cucumber, or I think for containers, because the vine seems to be more compact. With these halcinator pickles, you really need to trellis those. That's beautiful, ain't it? Show people that right there. I'm really impressed with these mini me cucumbers.
The taste of them is really good.
Yeah.
I don't know, are these burpless?
I don't think so, because they got seeds on them. But we just been,
Pepper.
I just want salt on mine.
I like pepper.
45 days to maturity, and believe it or not, just yesterday I planted another 50 seeds. So we can have some more coming on. We've enjoyed them so much.
I'm gonna try to do my fermented dill pickles out of these. You know who I thought about when we were eating these? Remember when Jacob was here with True Grit?
Yeah, yeah, he loved them.
That's what he would eat as a snack, just a whole cucumber. I bet he'd love these mini-me's.
Yeah, I don't want to run out of them, so I want to try to have some coming in during the summertime. So I planted more. Hopefully I have some to give away to some people around here, maybe some of our employees that want some. But
Look at this.
it's beautiful, isn't it?
Isn't that beautiful? That is a purple passion flower. It's in our herbal collection. And we don't carry this color, but I've got some red and some white too.
Now, what part of that do you use?
You know, I was going to look that up before the show.
If anybody has used passion flower as a herb, let us know, because it's kind of new to us.
But
they are
look
beautiful.
at all those parts. It's just gorgeous.
Cucumbers and passion flowers. How about that?
My hydrangeas blooming too.
Yes, they are.
You see the flowers?
Oh man, what is this right here?
That's a garlic.
Garlic scape.
Garlic, yeah. There's some more in there too.
Yep. So she's in the flower things. She picks flowers for us.
But these are the limelight, the new ones that I bought. The blue and pink I've had for a while. Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah, so I've got zinnias planted. I just planted some more zinnias yesterday, so I'm in the zinnia plant mode right now. We're going to be moving into some hot weather and some stuff rotating out of our garden. So you may want to, we probably want to do a show on flowers again, but you may want to talk about zinnias and sunflowers, planting some for rotation for those summer months when nothing else grows and struggles. Speaking of that, folks, next week, I know, is it next week or within the next week or so, we just had a meeting about this morning. We're going to have the sweet potato sales are about over with. So we're fixing to have last call on sweet potato sales. So if you're not pre-ordered your sweet potatoes, you need to go ahead and get them in. They love hot weather. I haven't planted mine yet. So I'm going to plant mine within the next couple of weeks. And sweet potato sales, I think June the 5th is going to be the last shipping date for those. So I think probably the weekend before that, we'll do a last call email on getting your sweet potato slips. All right, so let's move into the meat of the show, which is insect problems. We're moving into summertime. We start to see more insect problems as the weather gets hotter and we start getting into summertime. Some of these may be unusual insects to you today that you've not seen before, maybe some of them that you have. What do you do to control them? How do you manage them? Number one, let's go with, is going to be probably the most popular one out there. We're going to float these pictures up where you can get an idea. This right here is aphids. It's probably one of the most common pests we see underneath the leaves, which is what we call a soft-bodied insect.
They suck on new leaves, stems, and buds.
They suck the juice out of the plant, therefore stressing the plant. Aphids, now the old people, including your grandmother, what would she call these? Lice.
Yeah.
Old people call them, like, I got lice on my greens, or I got lice on my so-and-so. Lice is a slang word for aphids. We also have them in different colors. So this is the most common color, is this green translucent color that you see here. We see that more than we do in the rest of it, but there's also a black aphid. Black aphids, if you've ever seen them underneath the leaf, are just the same size as these green aphids here, but they're colored black. And the black aphids seem to be a little bit more difficult to control than a regular aphid is, but you use the same method.
So
Now-
are they such as red?
No, I've never seen a red one. Green, translucent green, which is what this color here, and black. A lot of times aphids will attack plants that are stressing a little bit or attack plants that are kind of weak. So keeping that plant healthy is a good defense mechanism to keep these aphids off of it. However, if you do get the problem, they're easy to kill, and a lot of times they will actually crash out on their own. So a lot of the fruit growers don't worry a lot about aphids because they'll what they call crash out on their own. They'll cycle out on generations.
So what are they most attracted to?
They're most attracted to very new growth, like you said, new growth, any kind of fresh,
So not
tender
one
leaves.
particular plant.
Oh, I've seen them on everything.
Everything.
You've seen them on crepe myrtles before, where you get that sooty mold on crepe myrtles. You see them on a lot of different things. That new growth that comes out on a lot of shrubbery, you'll see aphids on. So how do you control them? Well, the main thing is coverage. As you can see here, this is underneath of the leaf. Very seldom do we see aphids on the top side of the leaf. We always either see them on the stem or most of them on the underside of the leaf. Soft body insect, just about anything will control them. The key there is getting coverage. You got to get the pesticide on that particular insect. So spray underneath the leaves real good there. And I'm going to talk about a couple of things that works really good. Bug Buster 2 here will work really good on aphids as far as the contact. Here's another one right here, Horticultural Monterey Horticultural. Both of these products right here, folks, I picked up the wrong one. Let me get the right one. Bug Buster O. Both of these products right here are organic solutions for aphids. I think you probably should go with aphids with an organic solutions because they're so easy to kill. And with insecticides, as we're going to talk today, this is the strategy you want to have in mind. You want to use the least toxic one that you do to solve the problem that you have. As you move up with the more toxic products, you want to have the harder problems to control. So if you've got a problem and you can solve it with the least invasive method, that's what you need to do. If you can't solve it, then you go up to the next or the next and the next. There's no reason in my mind you should use anything on aphids besides an organic product because they work wonderful. Pyganic, which is a compound found in the chrysanthemum plant, here works wonderful, or straight horticultural oil will do that. Aphids. Probably have to treat them a couple of times sometimes, but you just knock them out and they move on. Make sure your plant is nice and healthy, and you can get the aphid thing under control. Next one we're going to go to is one that we get a lot of emails on. If I can get through here and find my... We see a lot of people posting on the internet, what is going on with my plants? Got to find it.
Which one are you looking for?
I'm looking for the last one I'm going to find right here, which is leaf miners. Y'all see that right there? If you ever get these little tracks in your leaves right there, it's called leaf miners. Leaf miners disrupt the plant and stress the plant because they tunnel within the leaves there. And you'll see this, what we call tracking within the leaf right there. It's common. We see this on sometimes potatoes, sometimes tomatoes and things like that. It's not one of the most damaging plants to insects to plants out there, but it does definitely damage the plant and it needs to be controlled. But just very obvious when you have the problem because you see that tracking within the plant. So it burrows in between the leaf there and creates that. How do you
Blotchy
control?
looking.
Blotchy looking. How do you control it? Bug Buster O will control it if you catch it at the right time. So if you catch these crawling insects, which is what a leaf miner is at the right time, any of these non-intrusive things like Bug Buster O or horticultural oil will control it. If it gets beyond and beyond to you, beyond and beyond, that means you can't do anything. You want to move to the synthetic there. But they will have leaf miner, which most people don't know what it is, but they see it. MealyBugs. We see this most time on the stem, and it's real similar to another insect called cottony scale. They look real similar, but don't worry about it.
Just looks like a pile of cotton.
It is. And cottony scale looks real similar to that. And don't worry about getting your identification right because you control both of them the same way. But this right here, most of the time we see this on the stem. You see this on a lot of indoor plants. Yeah, for some reason or other we see it in indoor plants. They are a soft body insect and they just suck the juices out of the plant and stress the plant.
They get on my geraniums bad.
We see them on a lot of ornamental plants right there. They will get on vegetables as well there. Controlling these is real similar to aphids. You can hit them with something like these products right here, Bug Buster Oil, horticulture oil works real good on them. They normally easier to get contact on because they don't get underneath the leaf a lot. We see these on stems, so they're easier to get control on. If they get away from you, hit them with Bug Buster too. And they can be problematic, but it is a symptom that you got a stressed plant when you have those. Next one is going to be slugs. Now some people have problems with slugs in the garden. We seem to have slug problems worse when we have, I should have got my paperwork in order here.
I thought I had it.
Slugs and snails seem to be worse when we have wet weather. Now there's a product right here which is a bait product called Sluggo Plus that works really good. You sprinkle it around the ground of the plant there. The sluggos eat this product right here and it can kill them.
Does it mess with your worms?
It doesn't really mess with your worm. This is an organic product right here. See the green problem on there, the Omni certified. So it's a safe product right here. I believe iron oxide may be the active ingredient in it. Iron phosphate, excuse me. Iron phosphate is the active ingredient in it.
For slugs, you can also get you some beer and set in a cup.
You took the words out of my mouth.
I've had to do that before.
Yep. Take some beer, put in a little saucer there, and you can slide underneath there, and they'll feed in that and drown themselves and kill it.
They get drunk.
They get drunk off the beer. Yep. Yep. So you want to use cheap beer because they don't care what kind of beer you use, but you can use beer. It's a good home remedy thing there if you want to control your slugs. We don't have a lot of problem with slugs.
I have in the past, but
Not this year. It
Not
seems to be
the wood.
sporadic. Yeah. And we've had a wet year, so it's unusual. All right. Let's get to my whiteflies. This is an insect right here that I have a lot of problems with. Every one of these things are on the bottom right here, whiteflies. Now, normally we don't have this problem in the springtime, but you're going to see these show up later in the year. And the drier it is, the worse they are. I have these things in the fall real bad. Oh man, so whiteflies will go underneath the leaves. Do you ever hit the plant like a squash plant and just fogs up with these little insects? More likely it's whiteflies. Whiteflies are what we also consider vectors. They spread disease. So controlling whiteflies is tough. Now, getting the chemical on the insect will kill them. Just about anything will kill a whitefly. Bug Buster Zero, horticulture oil, any of them will kill soft body insects. Excuse me. The problem with whiteflies is they fly off and move around, so getting it on them is the tough thing. A good stay after them. Get underneath the leaves there and you can knock the population down. You're not probably going to eradicate them, but you want to keep the populations down where you don't get a lot of damage because they suck the juices out of the plant there. So having a little bit of a whitefly problem, I'm understanding of that. I just want to keep the populations down so I don't have damage. So a lot of times with horticulture oil, I've been known to go out and spray every day, every morning. You want to spray early in the morning or late in the afternoon where they're on that plant. During the day, they're all feeding, moving around. But I have been known to go out there every morning and spray my plants with horticulture oil, trying to keep my populations down. Some years are worse than others. But whiteflies can take some late season pumpkins and cucurbits out.
overnight.
Probably whiteflies is my hardest soft body insect to control. And let's move
Mites.
right along to mites. We don't see a lot of mites in vegetables, but we do see some. You see more of these in ornamentals. You ever had boxwoods that had that yellow cast to them? A lot of times that's spider mites. Mites are really small insects, nearly impossible to see the insect if you don't have some kind of microscope or our lens so you can see we can a lot of times see the damage on the plant because the damage will actually look like the leaf will be kind of speckled on top. You ever seen that thing when they got these little white specks on the leaf of the plant on top? That could be mites, spider mites or either kind of mites. Mites are easy to control. These two products right here do wonderful on mites if you get on the mite. You got to get coverage right here. So the thing about horticultural oil, and horticultural oil is one of the main things used on fruit trees for mites. You want to spray the bark good, the entire tree. But if you get Bug Buster Zero or horticultural oil on these mites, you're going to get control. Coverage is the key. You want to make sure you get the entire plant stem. If you're spraying trees, you want to get the bark, the crevices of the bark. A lot of times where these mites live, get underneath the leaf, get everywhere, and you're going to get pretty good control. We seem to have mite problems more in hot, dry weather. So the hotter, the drier it is, the worse mites can be. Spider mites is one of the worst things on ornamentals. All right, and we got to go to cutworms. Cutworms start out as moths and they fly around. Then they hatch out into these worms here that do a lot of damage right there. Cutworms is problematic because a lot of times don't see the damage till they've already killed the plant.
Right, the plant's gone. They've cut it off.
Cut it off. You know, a lot of people use diatomaceous earth around the plant, and that would definitely help. If it's me, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna zap them hard. If I think I got a cutworm problem, I'm not gonna play around with them. I'm gonna hit them with some Bug Buster 2 and try to knock them down, because trying to control them after they've already cut my plants down,
it's too late.
It's too late, and I'm getting really aggravated at that point. Cutworms, you always tell me you got a cutworm problem because they gnaw it off right there at the base of the plant. So if you think you got cutworms, go ahead and put you as preventative. You can put some diatomaceous earth down. But Bug Buster 2 is what I'm going to do.
Well, it sounds like if you're just on a schedule with this Bug Buster 2, you can get a lot of these.
You know, you're exactly right. The problem is it's not organic. So a lot of people don't, it's got like a 7-day. So any of these organic products right here, you can spray those, you can pick them tomorrow and eat them, no problem. This right here's got anywhere from a 3 to 7-day time period that you got to wait. So you don't want to use that at harvest time there. And that's the reason you want to use these products if you can. If you can't, then you kind of move on to that. This is kind of a last resort right here. It will get the job done. All right.
Beetles.
Flea beetles. Are we on just beetles here?
Just beetles.
Just beetles here. Flea beetles are a little bit different problem.
I think that's a potato beetle.
That's a potato beetle, but flea beetles are the ones that really get on our plants bad in the growing season, and especially like they put little bitty holes in their greens and stuff like that.
And you know, a ladybug's a form of a beetle too, but it's a good
beetle. There's a lot of different beetles out there. Flea beetles to me is one of the worst ones on our leafy greens. Believe it or not,
they cause the holes.
They cause the little holes. This product right here is probably the best thing on leafy greens for beetles, for flea beetles, before they get in the hard stage. So you need to start out early with this right here, and you can control them somewhat right. Once these beetles get to that stage there where they got the hard scale on them, the hard body on them, we have to move to Bug Buster 2, because we have to step up our game there. So potato beetles, Bug Buster 2, and you're gonna have to stay on them pretty hard. Any of your beetles that get to that adult stage, but anything before that, I would use this right here, Bug Buster Zero. I don't think Bug Buster Zero gets enough credit. Wonderful product, you just got to get coverage with it. And the amount of insects it controls is pretty huge. It'll even control worms that we're going to get to in a minute. All right, Thrips. Folks, Thrips is one of the most unrecognized in the home garden. Thrips is unrecognized insects. Thrips fly around and they can move in and move out. And I'm gonna tell you one of the key ways that I tell if I got thrips. They love to attack peppers. You ever get that crinkled look on your new growth coming out of your peppers there? That's more likely thrip damage. Thrips are what we call vectors also. They spread those nasty diseases like
in the stems.
Tomato spotted wilt virus. Any of those viruses, thrips carry from plant to plant, and they spread it. So we want to definitely keep thrips under control. Plus, we keep our new growth protected if we're controlling them. If you get contact, Bug Buster Zero would do it. But most time on Thrips, I'd probably go ahead and step it up to Bug Buster 2 on those right there, because you get a little bit of residual on Bug Buster 2. Thrips are one of those harder ones to control. So if you're using Bug Buster O or even horticulture or early on and you get coverage on them, you're going to keep the populations down. But if you get to a problem with you've got issues directly with Thrips, I'd go ahead and step up my game with Bug Buster 2.
And last but not least.
Well, let's get this right here out of the way first. Loopers, worms, and let's just, cabbage loopers is the ones we see on a lot of our brassicas that eats the holes in our plants here. This one right here, it can be controlled pretty much in advance. Let me get that one out of the way. Monterey BT, which is a stomach poison, that cabbage looper, if he ingests his BT, he's going to die, which is a good organic solution of that. Bug Buster O has a different mode of action. It's actually going to kill on contact. So using these two products right here for a cabbage looper problem gives you an organic solution that you don't have to worry about harvesting and washing off or waiting several days to eat there. So that's a good combination right there. I would probably spray them separately. But if you want to spray one day or 2 or 3 days and come back with Bug Buster O, you're going to get a good, well-rounded protection on your leafy greens from those worms. All right, now we're moving into the ugly one right here, Mama Hoss. Squash bugs. Ooh, this is nasty right here. Squash bugs can inundate any garden. We've seen them have
It's not just squash, it's pumpkins
oh,
and
anything,
melons.
cucurbits, yeah, it's real. I've seen them on cover crops and everything.
These sap suckers.
They are. They're tough to control. The populations build in a hurry. Folks, if you got these right here, you want to pretty much go ahead and get your Bug Buster 2 out, hit them hard. Rotation, clean gardening, we've talked about this before, is a good strategy to help to understand squash bugs. But we've got something new that we found out works pretty good on squash bugs. It's called a trap plant. So there's a plant out there that you can plant in your garden that will draw these squash bugs away from your desired plants, and they prefer eating on this plant. So therefore you plant it out there to try to feed the squash bugs so they leave you good stuff alone. And that plant is
Hubbard squash.
Hubbard squash. Plant a row or a few plants of Hubbard squash out there, and you're going to give these to the bugs. These are for the bugs to go over there and get. They'll attract to that blue Hubbard before they will other cucurbits, and therefore you sacrifice those, and it'll help keep your populations down. That is a good strategy for you guys out there that don't like to spread a lot of pesticides.
For flea beetles, you know what's a good trap crop?
What's a good trap crop?
Calendula.
Really? I didn't know that.
That article that I sent you from that university, nasturtiums and calendula. Oh, to trap aphids.
Aphids, you got your bugs mixed
Yeah.
up there, aphids. So I'm gonna tell you one that I found out on that works really good on flea beetles and worms. So and I did this by mistake, but a great trap crop is any kind of bok choy or Chinese cabbage. They work wonderful attracting worms and attracting flea beetles. So if you plant those, I did this a few years ago. I did it by accident, but I had some in the same row, bok choy with regular cabbage, and those insects attacked that bok choy, and I was able to get very little damage on my regular cabbage there.
I've got some kale and cabbage, and the kale's not been affected, but the cabbage has.
And I guarantee if you had bok choy in there, they would leave the cabbage alone and go to the bok choy. So bok choy for flea beetles and worms is a great trap crop. For squash bugs, blue Hubbard squash.
And they said collards was a good trap crop for cabbage worms.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I've not noticed collards being a good trap crop for me. I've had them with cabbage and things like that. I've not noticed preferred one over the other. That's my experience. But use trap crops, folks. If you never used them before, you'd be amazed what those, now the flower thing's new to me, but you'd be amazed what they'll do on the bok choy or any of the Chinese cabbages over a regular cabbage. Maybe that's helped you somewhat today make some decisions on what to use for insecticides. Now, insecticides are different from fungicides because insecticides are designed to kill. Even these organic products right here will kill. That's the whole thing. They're insecticides, but they're a little bit softer. They don't have quite as much killing power as some of the other things, but we don't want to use no more killing power than what we got to have.
And use it early in the morning and late at night.
To minimize exposure to bees. But any organic insecticide will kill. Side is the last part of the insecticide. That is a Latin term for kill. So be careful with your organic products. They will kill. Just minimize exposure to pollinators. Early morning, afternoon, late afternoon applications there. All right. Maybe that helped everybody. Because we're going to have bug problems. It's just a matter of when. Folks, has been sitting in for the garden spotlight. Onions, 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 and look what we have right here.
So this is Angela Hamilton Jackson. She is from Lazy Acre Farms in Grand Ridge, Florida.
Wow, not too far from us.
Love my Hoss onion seedlings. They're turning out the best looking crop I've have grown. Did not lose a plant. She says Hossalicious onions.
Hossalicious, that's good.
New word,
Yeah.
Hossalicious.
Yeah, thank you, Angela, for sending that in. Looks like you had a great onion crop. We had more people this year have a good onion crop than I ever remember before. All right, so on the set here somewhere, folks, is the old goat. Now, if you see the old goat, put it in the comments below. Next week, we'll do a drawing for this
He
week.
did really well last
He
week.
did. He did a good job.
Some people had some
Hard times
hard
finding.
times, yeah. So, Mike gave him a break this week.
I give him a break. All right, so last week's winner of the old goat is Keith Almond. How you spell that last
Let me
name?
see it. Almond.
Keith, we
A-L-A-M-O-N-D.
We apologize if we butchered up your last name there, but send us your information to
support@growhouse.com.
Yeah, we've changed that, so we're struggling with it a little bit. And Keith, you will be the recipient of these fancy Get Dirty socks. Talk of the town.
Talk of the town.
Yep. All right, folks.
Let us know what kind of bug problems you're having.
Yeah, what you do. If you got a trap crop that you found that works, let us know about it, because we think trap crops are interesting. They are for me anyway. Looks like it's going to be a little bit of a challenging year, but we're having some good. Neighbor picked a ripe tomato yesterday.
Watermelons.
Watermelons.
I saw some like
Oh, no.
pretty big down there.
If our weather straightens up, we may end up having a decent garden after all, but it's been a little bit of a challenge so far. But if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. So
Weeds. Stay on top of your weeds.
stay on top of your weeds. Yep,
It's hard to do because you bog down.
it is. Yep, I've got things I've got to do in my garden ASAP, just as soon as I can get back out there in it. Thank you for joining us. If you can, just as soon as it dries off, get outside and get in that garden and get dirty.